Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for checking out my videos. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart and has been since I discovered it as a child. Today we're going to talk about how The Sims has positively impacted not just my childhood but my current mental health and well-being. It's just been such a positive and soothing thing to play all throughout the years. Pretty much I'm 26 now, and I probably started playing Sims when I was like, who even knows. I also have a special guest in this video that's going to talk about the impact Sims had on her life and still has on her life today, so I'm excited. So what is The Sims? I know a lot of people are like, you play The Sims, what is that? Why don't you play a regular game, blah blah blah. The Sims is essentially a simulation game where you pretty much play God. You make all the decisions, you build your household, you build your people, you decide where they go, you decide what career they take up. If they take up a career, you can make them rich where they don't have to work. You can create children, you can pick their outfits, you can interact with who you want to interact with on the game. It is just you having full control over this universe. So let's get into some background of The Sims, because I came into the game about 2002, 2004 time range, but Sims has been going on for quite some time, y'all. The first game, I think it was Sim City, came out in 1989, and it was pretty much, to my understanding, I never played, it didn't sound interesting to me, but it was, I guess, creating a city, like the actual structures of it and maintaining it. And I mean, I guess that's fun to some, or that was fun to the original players, but I don't think that's all that interesting. But that's where it got its start. The Sims, the actual Sims game that we all came to know, came about in about 2000, and I believe that's the cover. Oh gosh, y'all, don't get me to lying, but that's when you actually seen the actual Sims, like on the cover of the game, the actual like people like Sims that you were like, okay, what is this game about? Clearly there's people on the cover, you know, what is this game about? I think when it really went crazy was Sims Bustin' Out, which came out in 2003, y'all. Sims Bustin' Out, I think, really set the tone for where Sims could go and just how much of, I think, like modern culture could be incorporated into the game. My personal background with The Sims, I believe, was when I was watching a cousin play it, and I was just so interested. I just saw a bunch of mess on the floor, and I seen my cousin like clicking over it and cleaning it up, and then going to cook something, and I was just like, what is this? Like, what is this game? I couldn't quite understand the concept of it, but I was highly interested. I was like, what is this game? You're clearly controlling every aspect of what's going on in this environment that I'm seeing. Like, what is this game? I think I was, oh gosh, I was renting the game. I believe I was actually renting the game from like Blockbuster and stuff like that on like PlayStation 2, like Sims Bustin' Out, and I would play it for like the 2 or 3 days I had it, and then I'd have to take it back, or I would rent it again. And I loved it so much. My parents saw that I loved the game so much. So there was a Christmas that rolled around where my parents bought me Sims Bustin' Out and Sims in the City all together, because they just saw I had this interest in this game, and then I kept renting it, and they probably were tired of paying the rental fees, if anything, but they bought me both of those games in one setting. And I just remember that being like one of the best Christmases ever. So this was about the time too that my parents actually got a divorce, so I was always playing The Sims, always just in a way disassociating from my own reality and going on there and playing as a kid. It felt safer to me, I guess, to just play in some other world, because my own world was very confusing to me at that time. Also, I just remember even when my parents separated and my mom moved to a whole different city with us, I remember still having The Sims, still playing The Sims, because we had definitely downsized, because it was just me, my mom, and my sister at that point. And I remember like having a little table and having like a little TV and playing Sims Bustin' Out, and it was my way of trying to cope with what was going on around me, trying to feel like I had some kind of control in what was going on in my world. So the first point I want to bring up about how it's beneficial is definitely that essence of being in control. when you don't feel like you have a lot of control in your own life, your own reality, it's just really cool to be able to tap into this game and, you know, make a reality that works for you, because it's like you can't control, you know, the outer forces of what's going on and what's happening to you in your current life. So it's like, well, let me get on here where I have all the control and I can say who gets to be happy, and who, you know, who gets to do what they love and who gets to not be sad. You know, it's kind of like just having, creating your own stability in a world where you don't have stability in your outer world. And that's what I really, really appreciated about The Sims. Having your own say so when you don't have your own say so about what's happening to you in your real world definitely brings a sense of calm. So, you all, I do have a special guest that I want to let you all hear from about her experience with The Sims. And it's actually my best friend, Ariana.
This is what a look like. So period. There's my sim. She's thick, look, nose, stomach, hair long. Period. Nice house. Hi, I'm Kabrea's friend Ariana. Thank you for having me on the show today, friend. When I'm playing The Sims, I pretty much feel in control of every aspect of the game, which life is pretty much a simulation. So, you know, somebody's in control of mine. So it's nice to be in the game and get to be in that dictator role. Usually, honestly, boredom. I can say when I was a child, I would kind of go to play The Sims kind of to escape from, look, home situations, life in general. It was kind of an escape tool for me. But now I usually just play when I'm bored, when I just need something to kind of take my mind off of everything still. But I feel like definitely boredom is the main. I've played The Sims for quite some time. I want to say I was maybe like 11 that I started playing The Sims. I remember I was at a family friend's house and they had an older daughter. She was probably like 15, 16 or something. And she had The Sims on her PC. I don't remember which Sims it was. I wish I could remember. I want to say it was like Sims 2, but it had an expansion pack. Don't remember the pack, excuse me. But yeah, I started playing on hers and I was like, okay, this is pretty fun. Like, need this for myself. So I ended up getting The Sims 2 no pack. So that's how I started my Sims adventure. Well, like I said, a way to escape. I mean, as long as you don't go into a dissociation and forget reality is there, then I feel like it's definitely a good way to escape. The Sims allows for me to kind of avoid the risky behaviors in my own life, because I definitely tend to engage in those risky behaviors when I'm feeling manic, I guess. But, you know, I can just go on my Sims game and kind of do some crazy shit, and it almost makes me not want to do too much crazy in real life. So I like that it gives me an outlet for creativity. So like, I like to make outfits for my Sims that kind of look similar to what I would wear in real life, but maybe cannot afford or don't feel like putting in the energy. So I can quickly go to my closet and change a fit, can build my perfect home, build the perfect life, honestly. So that's really why I started to play The Sims.
The Sims also taught me structure. It also like let me understand, you know, what does a home structure look like? What does an individual structure look like in terms of, you know, what is functioning, you know, what works, what actually is healthy, as opposed to maybe what I was seeing in my own world. And I just feel like The Sims kind of gave me that sense of structure that I still carry with me to this day. Just the concept of building a household, maintaining it, keeping it clean, keeping it nicely furnished. You know, Sims be getting mad when the environment is not giving, and I be getting mad when my environment's not giving. So it's just like, it helped me build structure in what seemed like small ways then, but really lasted with me throughout my entire life. It also taught me about the importance of sustaining yourself, you know, getting a career, What can happen if you don't sustain yourself properly and your finances are not in order. I mean, your sim is clearly in a bad mood because they can't afford the things they need around the house, or they can't afford to eat, so they're in a bad mood. It just really taught the importance and the consequence of what can happen if you don't properly sustain yourself. It also taught me about a career and like building up to where you can be eligible for a promotion. Just simple things like that. And I'm talking, y'all, before cheats, because when I was first playing, I didn't really play with cheats. I was young. I was like, oh, I just want to play. And that's the stuff I was learning before the cheats. Now when I got the cheats, it was really nothing to sustain myself financially, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm a millionaire on the game. Another thing too it taught me in terms of structure is the importance of building upon your skills, because not only did the skills help you on the game, get eligible for promotions, but it also helped you do things better throughout your sim environment. And still to this day, y'all, like I'm constantly like keeping things in my environment. Like I have a ukulele, I always have like art supplies, just different things I keep around the house to mess with and fiddle with, kind of like on the Sims, to kind of get better at that particular skill. And I do like have the hopes, like I have the hopes with the ukulele of like one day playing for my friends, like at a campfire or something, just stuff like that, like building upon a craft with more than the intention of moving forward in a career, but also so you can utilize these skills and share these skills. And that was evident on almost every Sims game I played, especially Herbs too. Like you had to get your skills up so that you could get a better job, so that you could bring in more money, so that you could enjoy more luxurious things, more luxurious clothes, and then your overall life benefited because of your ability to pretty much capitalize off of the skills that you learned in your own environment. So that definitely sticks with me to this day. Another thing, y'all, is relationships. I think the funniest thing ever is that me and my best friend, like, we literally be having the moments like on the Sims where you might have a negative interaction with somebody and it really do be feeling like minus signs is coming from your head after you finish talking to them. Because I don't know if it's just like where I'm just simulated, is that what I'm gonna call it? But I still to this day be feeling like negative emotion, negative symbol. Like when I get out of a draining interaction, or like where me and the person might not have agreed, I am like, but then there are some positive interactions where I'm like, oh, okay, like that was a good, I'm able to decipher good and bad interactions. And after a couple of negative interactions with somebody, you'd be like, okay, that's probably not my type of person. And that's usually how it went on the Sims too. Sims also taught me the importance of building healthy relationships and also maintaining them, because on the game, if you make a good friend but you don't talk to them for a while, or you don't do a slight interaction with them, you'll get that little message saying, hey, you and so are no longer friends anymore because you've let this relationship wilter. And we tend to do that in our own worlds, and the Sims definitely kind of indoctrinated that into me, because I'm the type that even now to this day, if somebody crosses my mind, I usually send them a text or something and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. I do really work to maintain my relationships that mean a lot to me. And then the other thing too, kind of going back to those negative interactions, is that the Sims taught me that, there are some people that my Sims just don't like, or they just get rubbed the wrong way. And I think that speaks a lot to us in our own outer world. Again, like, you're not going to get along with everybody. Some people are going to rub you the wrong way, especially when you're in a negative mood on the Sims. Like people you come in contact with, like your Sim is going to have lots of negative interactions with them because they're not quite in the spirit. So it can speak a lot too to not being in the right space to interact yet still interacting, and how that can just negatively impact not only the relationship that you have with that person you're interacting with, but also just you in general. You don't feel no better after you have a negative interaction and you're already in a bad mood. So The Sims definitely has helped me with that as well. And just to be funny, I did want to talk about some of the Sims that rub me and my Sim the wrong way on like Sims Busting Out. And they definitely, honorable mention goes to Dudley and his sister Mimi. Did y'all remember them? Because Dudley was the one that had the trailer, and it was just totally unkept. He expects you to clean his home when you move in with him, and it was so disgusting. It was just trash everywhere. He had a hot tub, but he just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't even know if my sim really was getting down with him either. And then Mimi, she was just a for whatever reason. I don't know. Like, she was like stuck up. I think, wasn't they like Malcolm Landgrab's kids or something? The rich individual in the city, whatever. But Mimi was just a brat. She had nice things, but it was just like, I don't know. She just rubbed me the wrong way and tend to rub my sim the wrong way. But I just wanted to mention them. The other thing that I absolutely love, and I kind of was talking about that earlier with Sims, is the element of escapism. Like, if you're not feeling your current reality, babe, just get on The Sims and create a new one, because it's just too simple. I mean, it's really like you can build the life you want to live and you can go exist in it for a little while. You know, one example is if you're not happy with your love life or your current partner, hey babe, just get on Sims and create your ideal partner. From the looks to the personality, you can literally customize, and you can go love on them for a little while. Maybe it'll make you feel better. It tends to make me feel better, because I don't know, I just be feeling good when my husband be looking good on the game and he be treating me right on the game. I'm just like, no excuse for the real people I be seeing in the real world, because my husband treats me good on the game. Also too, like, if you're not happy with your living circumstance, babe, get on the game and create yourself a mansion. Create yourself a nice house, furnish it the way you want to. And I also feel like that kind of plays into manifestation as well, like creating these things, these elements of life you want to live, and actually seeing it and playing in it and interacting with it. It has to be some level of manifestation attached to it. And two, if you're ever feeling lonely, it's just a good way to get on the game and maybe create a big family, or, you know, create just yourself and then go socialize with a bunch of Sims. I don't know why, but it definitely makes you feel better. And I don't know, it makes you feel like you are being socialized without actually having to socialize, or if you don't have access to people at that time to socialize within your own world, it's cool to get on there and talk to them. I briefly touched on how, as Sims got out in the later times, like the 2000s, they started to incorporate more of modern culture in it, which I thought was so cool, especially with herbs, you all. Because I'm this little girl from West Virginia, small town, and that game really just opened my eyes to how people can have different backgrounds, different belief systems, different looks, different ways of interacting. And I will always appreciate the herbs for that. And that was around the time that I started to glamorize city life anyways, and that game just took it to the next level and made me want to expand my horizons. Absolutely. It made me want to know what else was out there beyond West Virginia. I wanted to meet different people. I wanted to see these different backgrounds and interact and engage with people that came from different backgrounds. And that game was definitely a spark for that. It made me think in a different way. That game also gave you a constant stimulation from your environment. I mean, not just in your home apartment setting on herbs, but it was like anytime you went to a different part of the city, it was just like there's always something, some new element to interact with or see in a different way. Characters dress differently, different dance moves, different music, different city scenery, different interactions with them. And it just gave me everything I needed and more. It definitely did. I still love that game. I still try to play it on my console, but it be freezing up because my console's old. I don't know if you can you get that on PC? Y'all let me know, because definitely we'll get into it. And two, that game really showed you about taking your fate into your own hands. I mean, you're literally dropped in the middle of a city, broken down apartment, and it's really showing you like your fate can be in your hands. You can start with nothing and you can have a dream like you do on the herbs, and you can really work your way up. It might be a slower process, but you can work your way up. You can meet the right people. You can network with the right people. You can, you know, showcase your skills. You can put yourself out there so much so that you're able to really make your own dreams come true. And like I said, still has that impact on me today, because I still feel like that today. And I think that The Sims definitely pushed and propelled my mind into believing in myself in that way for sure. I feel like beating the herbs game was actually the most fulfilling because you literally worked so hard and you got dragged a lot of the time along the way from people if you didn't have the right reputation, or if you didn't have on the right clothes, or if you were inadequate in any way, you got dragged on that game and you started out poor. So I feel like to beat that game and you end up in the penthouse and everybody is pretty much with you because you done built your reputation up and they know you for the things you did while you were moving throughout the city, babe. That was just so fulfilling to me. Some of my favorite places to visit on the game were definitely Neon East, where they had like the sushi bar and all the neon. And then I also loved Skyline Beach. That was like the original level that they promoted. And then what else? The other one, Southside Bridge. That one kind of gave me like a Chicago vibe. I like the casino. I like that. I loved it. And then Diamond Heights, when I was feeling like a rich bitch. I was always trying to live in Diamond Heights and be a model. And I just loved that everything was gold and that everybody had on the gowns. Oh my, please, Lord, put me in that game. I really wish that I could just get picked up and dropped into that game as I am, like as a human, please. Like I would love to live out that game in my own life.